make a big difference.
It's interesting that you say that. And when I was reading what we were going to talk about today, I was like, you know what? When I look for a doctor for myself or for my children, I always read the reviews. I read the reviews for most anything I order. And you know what? I don't review my doctor, and I need to do that because you're so right. We can tell them things that we're happy about, things that we're not happy about. It's very important.
Yeah, Wendy, it's just about communication, right? It's about being honest and transparent, and it's not about being negative, or trying to hurt someone. But if you have a situation, you have to be honest with it. It'll help the doctor. It'll help other patients. What I love about the Ally of Doctors campaign is it's also paying it forward. So for every new review on healthgrades.com, Mucinex is going to donate $20 to the United Negro College Fund, up to $20,000 by the end of 2020. So it's also about paying it forward, which is important.
I love that. And I'm definitely going to do that because I think it's so helpful. I mean, I'm sitting here reading the reviews. Why wouldn't I go out there and support our doctors and review them as well? It doesn't take a lot of time. I think it's so important. And the fact that you, Dr. Ian Smith of the doctors, is telling us to do this, and it's important, I think we should. And especially now, I mean, these healthcare workers and professionals are putting their lives on the line every single day, now more than ever in our crazy world that we're in. Doesn't sometimes it seem like sometimes I'm like, is this really happening? We cannot believe it's been lasting this long.
Yeah, it just feels like, is this real? I agree with you. You get the feeling like every day you wake up, we're still in it, and we are in it, and it's gotten worse, and particularly cold and flu season, Wendy, because here we are, cold and flu symptoms, you know them, everything from cough to chest congestion, fever, headache, sore throat, and there's no cure for the common cold or flu, but there is symptomatic relief. So we want people to go out and make sure that you try to relieve your symptoms. They're over-the-counter medications, one like Mucinex DM 12-hour that can control your cough, it can thin, loosen your mucus, and it can relieve that congestion for up to 12 hours. But Wendy, people have got to take these medications carefully. We talk about this on the doctors all the time. You have to follow the dosage prescribed by the manufacturer. Don't do it more because you think more is going to be helpful. That's not good. And if your symptoms persist, even after taking the medications, you definitely should check with your local healthcare professional.
Okay, good advice. And tell us, Dr. Smith, Dr. Ian, what can we do to some preventative measures that we can take at home to stay healthy?
Please do the old-fashioned basics. If you're going to sneeze or cough, do it inside of a tissue. You don't have a tissue, use the inside of your elbow. Very important to prevent those respiratory droplets from spreading out into the air. Also, wash your hands. It's so easy. 20 seconds, warm water, soap makes all the difference in the world. And if you don't have that, of course, get some hand sanitizer. But these simple techniques, Wendy, can go a long way in preventing us from spreading germs from one person to another.
Isn't it amazing? Wash your hands, soap and water. So old-fashioned, right?
That's right. I mean, listen, there's some things in life that are just simply timeless. And that is a timeless thing we were taught by our parents and our first and second grade teachers. Well, now it's important more than ever.
It's so important, more than ever. Wash our hands, soap and water. Now, and that's still the number one for all of us. What else can we do at home to keep us healthy and to keep our kids and our family healthy?
Well, you really have to wear your mask, honestly. When you're outside of your bubble, which means outside the people who you live with, you got to wear your mask. And you have to really limit your interaction with other people during this time. You got to if you got to go out, and people do have to go out, you got to go to the doctors or you got to go to the grocery store or whatever. You have to go out, keep the distance, and be very gathering in large gatherings. It's just not safe right now. And we all do this together, by the way, Wendy. We'll get through this.
We'll all do this together. How long do you think? I mean, no one can predict anything. I don't have a crystal ball, but I think that if people really follow the mitigating factors that we've been talking about for several months, if they really follow them and they do it together, and if the vaccine gets approved soon, I would hope by the end of spring that we could be in a better place. I mean, we're going to hopefully get better before then, but to get to a place whereby we feel a lot more comfortable, I think, Wendy, unfortunately, it's going to at least go to the end of spring because you got to get the vaccines to people. Everyone has to, at least 2/3 of the population need to take the vaccine. So it's going to be some time. But once again, if we do our basics,
we can get through it much faster and much easier and reduce the amount of deaths and illness.
Now, who should take these vaccines? I'm always skeptical. I mean, I just started getting the flu shot 2 years ago. I'm always skeptical about vaccines. For those of us that are healthy and well, do we need the vaccine still, or is it the people that are more vulnerable that need the vaccine, or how should we go about this vaccine?
What a great question. So for this particular situation, in order for the vaccination to work, because we're in a pandemic, whether you're healthy or not, we need at least 2/3 of the country to take the vaccine for the vaccine to be effective for the country. If not enough people take the vaccine, the virus can still be transmitted from person to person and still be alive. So we really all need to do it. The particulars are not out yet about what the schedule is going to be, but as many of us as possible need to take it. It's not like some of the other vaccines where we say, if you're a vulnerable population, you need to take it. This vaccine is going to be for everybody.
Okay, that's good to know. If you just know, I'm talking to Dr. Ian Smith of The Doctors, co-host of the Emmy Award-winning syndicated daytime talk show. He's also a best-selling author. I feel a book's coming, Dr. Smith. Is that happening? Another one?
Well, yeah. Well, I just released my novel, The Unspoken, that just came out on Amazon.com, so you can check that out. It's a lot of fun. It's a great distraction.
Oh, I'm getting that.
Yeah, but April, I'll have a diet book for you called Fast Burn.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so and another thing is, we talked about this before, and I just want to bring it up again because I think that this was a very big deal. You were appointed by President Obama to a second term on the prestigious Presidential Council on Fitness, Sports, and Nutrition. That was pretty amazing. Do you pinch yourself still thinking that you were doing that?
Well, yeah, it was actually, the funny story real fast is that when I got the call to do it, I thought one of my friends was playing a joke on me, because it was a call from the White House. Who gets a call from the White House? So I was going to hang up on him.
Right.
I said, no, really, I'm from, human resources, at the White House. We're really calling you to ask you if you want to join the council. So it was really funny, but it was a great experience. I loved in that role. I worked with a lot of great people. And listen, my whole life has been about empowering people to be healthier, to be better, to live the best life possible. That was definitely one of the crowning moments for me.
Oh my God, and so well deserved too, I must say. So, keeping ourselves healthy during this pandemic, exercise, eating right, washing our hands, any other advice you can give us, and in everyday life moving forward. And on a second note, I think that this pandemic, I think some of it was good. I mean, some of it made us all hunker down, made us, appreciate our families and the quiet time more. I didn't used to get in the car, wash my hands every single time, wipe my hands down with wet wipes or Purell when I got in the car every time I left a store.
Yeah, I think that the pandemic, you always find, my grandmother said, always find a silver lining in the cloud, right? And I think the pandemic has some things that we don't need all the things that we needed, that our priorities may not have been right, that family, of course, should be at the top of the list, and that we need to reconnect with ourselves and with each other. So I think that's really important. I also believe, though, that people are learning that you can take simple mitigating factors to help spread illness. And I'm loving that we're going to support our frontline workers. I really want to encourage people, if they're having symptoms, which many of us will, it's cold and flu season, please go to mucinex.com, check out how you can relieve your symptoms, and go to healthgrades.com, Wendy, and leave that review.
Yes.
Help doctors, help your fellow, Americans and future generation heroes.
Absolutely. And by the way, on the last minute note, I know that we're running short on time. We're going to get sick. It doesn't mean we have COVID. We're going to get the flu. We're going to, people are going to get sick. And how do we calm all of this down? Because the minute you cough, the minute you sneeze, the minute you have a sore throat, we're going to think we have COVID.
Yeah, that's the big concern, of course, right? The overlap of symptoms. And so that's why people need to be on guard. If you have some of these symptoms, and you try to use some over-the-counter remedies like Mucinex, DM 12-hour, or the Fast Max, if you try to use these medications, they don't work, definitely talk to your healthcare provider, because then your healthcare provider can say, listen, we need to check out to make sure that it's not something more serious. And that's, I think, going to be the strategy for most people going forward during the pandemic.
Dr. Ian Smith, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Go out and support your doctors. Go out and review them. It's so important. They're on the front lines, and they're really the ones that are like, they're the ones that we need to like bow down to and thank them 1,000 times again and again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Wendy. Nice talking to you. Please be safe.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of What's Up with Wendy. If you love this episode, head over to iTunes or your favorite platform to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Please also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at What's Up with Wendy. You can learn more about my podcast on my website, whatsupwithwendy.com. Until next time, this is Wendy Lowy Sloan. Keep being kind.